into finding a building to put a mural on high up, even more visible.
After their crosswalk mural was repeatedly vandalized, Spokane Pride is planning a new project for downtown. What they're saying about it, new tonight.
Temperatures cool in the coming days, but we're talking the heat still sticking around.
Big developments in the manhunt for Travis Decker. Authorities in Chelan County believe they're on the accused killer's trail. What we have learned tonight. Good evening and thank you for joining us for the KREM 2 Night Report. I'm Mark Hanrahan. We are tracking breaking developments tonight in the urgent search for Travis Decker. Tracking teams now believe they're on his trail in the rugged terrain near Blewett Pass. Decker is charged in the murders of his 3 daughters in Chelan County. He has been on the run now for more than a week. The new search area follows a tip about a lone hiker spotted near Kolchuk Lake. Eric Wilkinson with our Seattle sister station is in Peshashton tonight, where the search for Decker has intensified.
We have new information just in as to what led searchers to this particular area. We were told that a group of hikers saw a man on a trail here in the Enchantments. He didn't look like he was prepared to hike. He was by himself and he was avoiding people. They called authorities. The authorities launched a helicopter, actually spotted that man. They've been looking for him ever since. The once cold trail now appears to be growing hotter. As police helicopters swarm the skies, people on the ground are left worrying and wondering what's going on.
We got an emergency alert on everybody's cell phone that Travis was somewhere in this area.
Around 9:15 last night, Chelan County sent out cell phone alerts advising people living here to secure their doors and windows. Travis Decker, charged with murdering his 3 young daughters last month, on the run and possibly close by. There has been no further word from authorities, but we have obtained the first photos from deep inside the rugged mountain search zone. Snohomish County Special Operations are assisting. Here you see them armed, hiking up snowy terrain and deploying a deputy from a helicopter.
We didn't hear
this
anything.
couple, on vacation from Sequim, finding themselves in the middle of a manhunt.
I don't want to stay outside too long. I don't know where this guy's moving around.
The search area is about 15 miles as the crow flies from the campground where Decker is believed to have suffocated his children. The circles on this FlightAware map show the search centered in the areas around Valley High, Ingalls Creek, and Allen Lane. By foot, Decker would have to traverse several mountains, but he is a former Army Ranger with extensive tactical training. Travis Decker hasn't been seen since at least May 30th, 12 days. The question tonight, are his days truly numbered?
Kind of unsettling. Plus, you didn't want to be out here if it was dark. You didn't want to be walking around. You don't know what's going to happen.
If you've seen a lone hiker who looked out of place on a trail here in the Enchantments, you're asked to call the Chelan Sheriff's Office. Also, if you've been a lone hiker here in the Enchantments, they'd like you to call them as well so they can rule you out as a suspect. Along Highway 97 near Leavenworth, Eric Wilkinson, King 5 News.
All right, our other top story tonight is the forecast. Another hot day across the region. Let's get outside right now to Chief Meteorologist Jeremy Legoo for more on what we can expect in the hours and days to come. Jeremy?
Mark, it's still hot out here this late at night. Temperatures near 80 degrees. I'm out here going, why am I in a suit? It is a scorcher even after dark. Temperatures starting to drop off to the north quite nicely. Hanging on to some of that heat where you have a little more tarmac out there. But yeah, eventually we'll watch things calm down and cool down. Wind dies down overnight in a big way. A far cry from where we were today, but expect that wind to pick back up as we move through the day tomorrow. We'll start out nice and cool. We'll eventually fall down to near 60, 50s farther off to the north. That gives us a little reprieve, but by tomorrow afternoon, the heat is right back on. We are climbing up to 87 here in Spokane, 84 over in Coeur d'Alene, and near 90 degrees out in parts of central Washington. Another really hot day here across most of the inland Northwest. As we mentioned, heat is slowly subsiding, but it takes a few days to cool back down. 87 and mostly sunny tomorrow. We are going to see quite a bit more cloud cover than what we saw today. Thursday, mostly sunny, but once again, just still seeing a little more cloud cover as we get a shifting weather pattern. Friday, we're back to mostly sunny, but that comes as our temperatures fall back into the 70s. 70s sounds nice, but it's still well above those seasonal norms.
All right, sounds good, Jeremy. We'll check back in with you later in the show. Today, the Latah County Sheriff announced big changes coming to the county jail. By this fall, inmates will no longer be housed in the jail overnight. Instead, it will serve as a court holding and booking facility. The sheriff says the move comes following a recent assessment of the facility that found that fire suppression, plumbing, electrical, and camera systems all needed full replacement. Estimated costs came in at around $13 million.
The expense of fixing these things is so immense that it's just as well that I start working on building a new facility.
The sheriff says until that can happen, the jail will only be staffed during normal business hours and to house inmates arrested during the day. People arrested after hours will be taken to the Nez Perce County Jail. In the meantime, the sheriff and county commissioners will explore their options for building a new facility. New developments in the Moscow murder case. Court documents reveal why prosecutors believe the trial should start in August as scheduled. KREM 2's Shannon Mowdy has more details on the state's arguments.
Well, prosecutors make it clear in the first line of a newly filed objection, it is time to try this case. Brian Koberger's defense team asked to delay the trial after leaks of non-public evidence in a recent Dateline episode. The defense argued the information will make it difficult for Koberger to have an impartial trial. But the prosecution fired back, arguing the defense hasn't and can't show that delaying trial will make things easier. Prosecutors argue pushing trial back may make it harder to seat a jury and say a fair trial is still possible despite media attention. They say the defendant has had adequate time and legal resources to be ready for a summer trial. The prosecutors also argued the defense waited until what they called the 11th hour to ask for continuance. They point to times the defense has held the prosecution to strict deadlines. Judge Stephen Hippler is expected to hear arguments on delaying the trial on June 18th. Shannon Mowdy, KREM 2 News.
And now to our night beat with a quick look at today's top stories. Just into our newsroom tonight, one person is dead after a shooting in Kettle Falls. According to a post on the Stevens County Facebook page, Kettle Falls and deputies are currently responding to the scene on the 800 block of Old Kettle Road. That road will be closed until further notice. The post made no mention of a suspect or any details about the incident, although it did mention there is no ongoing danger to the public. This is a developing story. We will bring you more information when it becomes available. Washington firefighters are ordered to help fight wildfires in Canada as Canada's Alberta and Saskatchewan provinces battling large wildfires. Washington DNR deployed 200 firefighters to help fight the fires. DNR Wildland Fire Management says the department has a strong working relationship with Canada. It added that Canada has helped Washington fight wildfires too, and that now, quote, it's our turn to lend a helping hand. Spokane County will soon have to find a new prosecuting attorney. This evening, the county announced that Larry Haskell is retiring. Haskell was first elected in November of 2014. He was re-elected to a 4-year term in 2022. Haskell ran into controversy 3 years ago when he issued a formal apology about racist remarks his wife made online. Haskell's last day in office will be on July 18th. And looking ahead to tomorrow, Kootenai County says it plans to temporarily close its driver's licensing offices tomorrow. The closing affects locations in Post Falls and in Coeur d'Alene. The sheriff's office says the offices need to close in order to train staff and perform system upgrades. A new Home Depot on the South Hill is set to open this Thursday, located on Regal Street. There will be a neighborhood night at that location tomorrow at 6 p.m. Home Depot says approximately 200 people will be employed at that store. And that'll do it for your Night Beat. For more information on any of these stories, just head to our website. That's KREM.com. All right, still ahead tonight, as hundreds of people are looking for ways to keep cool during the heat, we'll tell you about an organization that's trying to help. And Spokane's Pride Crosswalk won't be repainted. Instead, the nonprofit is looking for a new place to display their pride.